Pickles are an amazing thing. Pickling is this method of preservation that's been used for hundreds of years, thousands of years, who knows? Been used for a while. All cultures sort of have a version of pickling, fermenting, something like that, used to preserve vegetables and give flavor to dishes. When you've never really done it, pickling can seem a little bit sort of intimidating, maybe. For me, when I make pickles, I don't have a garden or anything, so I'm not plucking vegetables and pickling them and preserving them for a later date. I'm usually making a pickle in small batches for particular purposes, things that I'm going to use a lot. And one thing that kind of comes to mind are pickled red onions. We use them on the truck. We had a great recipe. They add a lot of flavor. They take on a nice color. They add bright acidity to a dish, and they can be used in so many ways. And in the next few months, we're gonna do some traditional Mexican style recipes and some recipes from the food truck, and pickled red onions is involved in some of those. So we need to spend an episode covering how to make really good pickled red onions so that we have them ready and made till we come into some dishes in the coming weeks that are gonna use these type of onions. It's really very simple, really foolproof way. 1 pint mason jar is gonna be plenty if you can stuff these guys filled. I just washed this guy. This is a brand new guy. If you have them, just throw them in the dishwasher, sanitize them, make sure they're nice and clean. I basically just have red wine vinegar. You can use whatever vinegar you want, but we're making pickled red onions. The onions are red. This is red. This is gonna help create a more vibrant color. If you don't use red wine vinegar and you want that bright color, you can always throw a little bit of a beet in there, and that's gonna give it that like dye red kind of color. So we have that, and we're gonna dilute it with like a half a cup of water. Then here I have 2 tablespoons of sugar. If you like pickles a little less sweet, then you can use 1 tablespoon or 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. That's totally up to you, but that's just kind of a personal taste. And then 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. Here I have a teaspoon of cumin seed, whole cumin seed. And on the truck we used coriander seed, whole coriander seed, but I can't find that anywhere. I can only find ground coriander. And so if you find whole coriander, go ahead and use it. If you have cumin, go ahead and use that, or use a combination of both. It really doesn't matter. And then just a little bay leaf, and then 1 clove of garlic. All we're gonna do is a cup of the red wine vinegar in here. And then we're just gonna add that into a small pot, and then we're gonna add a half a cup of water to that. Then we're just gonna add our salt and sugar. Put that off to the side. We're just gonna give it a little smash, just to kind of break open, release its juices a little bit, get that flavor sort of going. We're gonna put that aside and add that with the onions, and then we're gonna toast the seeds. So we're gonna take a little dry pan and we're gonna toast these before adding it to the onions in the jar. Basically wanna cut red onions into half moons about 1/8 of an inch thick. And you can pretty much do that 2 ways, which are a regular old chef's knife, which is always my favorite way, and I feel like the safest way. We're just gonna take the top off. Now we'll take 1 onion and we'll cut it with a knife. I'll show you how to do it that way. So basically I'm gonna take my fingers and, like always, curl them in. Put your blade against the knuckle and then just kind of get in there and measure, almost like you would like a bandsaw or something like that. Then when you find the width that you want, push forward and then back. See, like to me that's maybe a little too thin, so let's try to get it a little bit better. That's the width I'm looking for. And then of course there's a more treacherous option. One I'm reluctant to even suggest on any level, but I should show it to you, explain to you why I hate it, and maybe explain that there's a safer way. And that is one of these stupid, dangerous things. It's called a mandolin. When I was a kid, my dad spent 2 Thanksgiving Eves in a row at the hospital because he's a ding dong and he didn't use the safety thing, cutting apples on a mandolin when he didn't really need to. What's good about it is it's precise. I can dial this into 1/8 of an inch. It's gonna cut them perfect every time. What's bad about it is it's so dangerous. I wanted to ban using it on the food truck. We got them anyway. The first day I was assigned to cut carrots on one of these things and I didn't want to cut my finger, so I made sure I curled them in super tight. But what I didn't look at is my thumb. And at first day prepping anything of our food truck when we were in business, I nicked the end of my knuckle right off. So I hate using them. There are these safety gloves that are good, but what I'm just gonna suggest is you just grab onto this thing with a towel, flush against the bottom like this, using a towel as a guard, and then keep it sturdy and just do strong, confident strokes. And then just stop whenever you get anywhere close. If you're gonna use one of these, you're gonna sacrifice precision and ease with a little bit of waste for safety. Don't try and be a hero and be like, I need to use up the whole thing. If you're gonna use it, cut it with the rest with a knife. Just never take a chance with one of these things. And then you have it nice and even slices. And get that thing the hell out of here. Take my garlic clove. I'm just gonna pop it in there now. I just wanna stuff it as much as I can. So you can squeeze about an onion into a pint mason jar. That's ready to go. I've got my mixture in here, which I'm just gonna get onto the stove, bring it to the boil, and then let it cool for a second, and then add it into here. And then we toast these spices, and then we just let the thing sit. So let's just get over to the stove, bang that out real quick, and finish this up. Okay, so I got my pickling liquid here. It's hot. I've got my spices. I just like to tuck it in so you don't have anything sort of interfering with the seal. And then you can just throw it upside down and it'll let you know if there's any leaks. Kind of let it cool for a couple hours before you throw it in the refrigerator and let it sit for like a day, 2 days. The longer, the better. And then what we did is did a batch already. These were done 3 days ago. And look at the color. Just beautiful, red, delicious. Not too strong on the vinegar. That little bit of water helps kind of mellow it out, along with that couple tablespoons of sugar. It has that nice cumin scented flavor. And those little pieces of cumin, they really give you that sort of Mexican kind of punch. If you don't want to have that kind of flavor, you could just leave the cumin out, leave spices out, and just do it very simply with just the vinegar and the onions and the water and sugar and salt. These are perfect. These are amazing. They go in salads, they go in breakfast, they go in really anything. I mean, on top of meats, anything that's fatty. This is an amazing thing to kind of put on top and to cut all that fat. And so it's like pretty incredible stuff. It's gonna be perfect for the tacos we're gonna make later this month, my sandwich, and just look at the transformation. So I got my fresh batch here. I got my old batch that we're gonna use for our next episode. Because if you've never had caramelized pickled red onions, you don't know what you're missing. That's one of my favorite things ever. If you love onions, you're gonna love that. And we're gonna use it to make a bacon, egg, and cheese the way I like it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope a lot of you are gonna find some joy in this because I know onion love is a real thing. If you love onions, pickled red onions are the best. They don't really get your breath like those raw onions do. And I'm serious, caramelized pickled red onions are one of the best things ever. Next episode, we're making my bacon, egg, and cheese. We're gonna make it the way I like it. Thank you to all my patrons. Scrolling down here, thank you for watching. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.